Morning, everyone. How are you doing on this very dull, slightly rainy day? I don't know what the weather's like your way, Rachel. Sorry, I am actually being attacked by a fly today. We did joke about that earlier. So yeah, we're here today to hear all about paid social. It's very much a beginner's overview. I can't wait to hear and find out more. Did have a sneaky peek of this last night. We're going to do a poll in a minute. Handouts will be available. What else to tell you? Videos for this will be released about, it's a bit quicker now, probably about an hour after the session. And yeah, good to go, really. Shall we get on with the polls then, Rach? And then
yeah, sounds good.
I'll hand over to you. Okay, first one. What is your level of experience with paid ads? Total beginner and need to learn more, intermediate and still need to learn more, good but could be better, advanced but still trying to keep up to date. So just so we get a good idea of the audience. I've not had any responses yet. That's why it just freezes and it's a bit of an awkward moment. Right, hang on. So 44% total beginner, you are in the right place. Intermediate, still needing to learn, 50%, or move to 45%. You're in the right place. 15% saying these are moving around so quickly, these percentages aren't making sense really, but good, but could be better is now 5% and 5% advanced. So yeah, but so it's 45, 5%, 5%. So a bit of a mix.
Cool. Okay.
And we'll go to the next one. Thank you. And Rachel just wanted to get a bit of an insight of what you've used before. So what platforms have you used before in terms of your ads? So Facebook, Pinterest, TikTok, or other? %, Facebook as it stands.
It's the main one, isn't it?
It is.
If anyone was going to have experience, it'll probably be Facebook first.
No, it's moved. So it's 75% Facebook, 25% other.
Oh.
So maybe in the chat, if you write what your other is, if you don't mind sharing, that's always good to know. I'll be on chat supporting as normal. There's a few members of staff in the background as well. We'll answer your questions at the end. Really looking forward to it, Rachel. So go smash it, and we'll have offers at the end as well. Okay.
Cool. Thanks, Katie. Okay, I'm going to put my screen on full, so I can't see you because it's just so I can see the slides easier. So if you do have any questions, Katie will answer them in the chat, as she said, or we can cover them at the end. So if anything's unanswered by the end of it and you still want the answer to something, let me know, and we can touch on it there. So as Katie's already mentioned, today is going to be about social media, and we're looking at paid advertising from a beginner's perspective. So we've gone to the basics of everything, and we're going to go through each of the platforms to hopefully give you some insight for you to be able to run some ads on your own if you feel brave enough after this. Okay, so there's a little introduction about myself and Annika. Sorry, there's a typo on here. So I've been at Annika for nearly 2 years now. I've been working in social for around 8 years, and that's across agency and in-house. I've worked across a big range of brands for lots of different things you can imagine, from events to clothing retailers, like lots of different things. I even did discount retailers once. That was an experience. So yeah, lots of different industries there. I love social. It's why I specialize in this area. At Annika, we specialize in lots of different areas. So you can do PPC, you can do social. But yeah, social is my favorite. My favorite platform to work on is TikTok as well. I just think it's fun. I love the content on there. It's really great for advertising. So if anybody has advertised on TikTok or wants to learn more, do message in the chat, because I haven't included it in this presentation, I don't think. So let me know if you do have any questions on that. Okay. Let me move on to the next one. This is a bit about Annika. So Annika's been around since 2007. Some of you here might be regulars to our webinar, so you will know some of this. We have around 23 staff members. We have around 46 clients, and we will go into who some of those are in a minute. and 7 main services, but we will go into the details of what we do offer. So analytics, creative, paid media, PR, SEO, social media, and training are our key services. And if you were interested in any of the consultancy, strategy, lead generation side of things, we know a lot about it. So we have a lot to offer if you do need any digital help there. We have some good news recently. So we've won some awards. I'm a bit gutted. This is Emil and Ed. They work in our social and analytics team. And they had this picture where because they won so many awards, they put them on their back like a dinosaur. I'm a bit disappointed that this isn't in this presentation. But we won Best Large Paid Media Agency, Best Shopping Campaign, Best Retail Campaign, and Best Use of Conversion Attribution. This was a few months ago, so we're really proud to have won these awards. I think it's great to give credit to the work that we've done and the team that's done it. So these are some of our clients that we work with. Some really big ones in here: NHS, Uber for Business, Automation Anywhere, Palex, Experian, and Eon. This isn't everybody. We obviously work with a lot of clients, so this is just a little snippet of some of the clients that we work with. This is our team. A great mixture of skills in our team. Everybody is very technical and very skilled. We do webinars weekly, so you've probably seen quite a lot of these faces on the weekly webinar, including myself there. Okay, so before we get into the details of social media, I've just got a couple of slides on an introduction to digital marketing. This is a very, very big overview slide of how users can find your website. So they can find your website either through search, through social, or other sources. So this could be other websites, other media sites, different search and social. You have a target audience that you want to target. And then you select the digital channel that you want to use. And then obviously you drive traffic to your website where they will convert in some sort of way, hopefully. So that could be you want them to learn more about your product. You want them to make a sale. You might want them to submit a lead, for example. This is just very, very basic here. And we split the digital marketing channels into this term we call POET. So P is for paid, O is for owned, E is for earned, and T is for technical. So you can see underneath here, this is how we list the channels essentially. And if we talk about the strategy or the theory of digital marketing, we quite often put it into this format. It just makes it easier for people to digest and understand where channels sit essentially. So paid social sits in the P because you're paying for this advertising. Organic social probably goes into the E. It's earned. So social media community management, it's earned. You're not paying for that interaction. Okay, so what's on the agenda today? We've got quite a lot to go through. What is paid social? What is the marketing funnel? Best practices across platforms. We'll talk about pixels. I'm sure we do get a lot of questions about pixels and whether you should have them, how to implement them, that sort of thing. So that's in there for you. How to allocate your budgets. And then we go into a little bit of detail on each of the platforms. So Facebook, LinkedIn, Pinterest. At the end, we've got some useful tools and tips and tricks for if you've learned everything today and you think, yes, I can have a go at this myself. Hopefully those last 2 slides will be the icing on the cake for you. Okay. So what is paid social? Paid social is when you pay for advertising on any of these channels. So you'll recognize a lot of these. You've got Facebook there, Instagram. I should probably mention that Facebook and Instagram are owned by Meta. So we generally refer to that as Meta advertising rather than Facebook because they're joined together. You've got Snapchat here, Pinterest, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Obviously there's and TikTok. There's new social media channels that come out quite often. So now we have Be Real. You've got a new platform from TikTok called Lemonade. So far, haven't explored any advertising on there, but these aren't the only places where you can advertise. I just wanted to explain that this does expand. Obviously, TikTok wasn't around a couple of years ago, was it? So this landscape does change, and you do have to learn the new platforms when they come out if you want to advertise on them. So how do you know what's a paid ad on social? So you'll often see posts by brands, and you'll probably just scroll past them without any thought in the world. But there's a way to identify whether a brand has paid for advertising or not, and it will have sponsored or promoted by next to their brand name. So as you can see here on the left, this is a Pinterest pin. In the middle, that is it's a desktop screenshot of an Instagram ad. And then this on the right is a Instagram story. So that's how you know if a company has paid for their advertising. Brands can also post organically. So I'll just give you an example. Do you remember the Colin Cuthbert saga between M&S and Aldi? A lot of that was organic social. So they don't pay for it. They just create really engaging content that people enjoy and want to engage with and find interesting. And that's how the momentum starts. So not all advertising or posts, not all posts from brands are paid for. Okay, so what is the marketing funnel and how does paid social correlate? You might have seen this before. This is the marketing funnel. This isn't just for social. You can use this across all marketing channels, offline, online. It's a basic theory essentially. With social, you can target all stages of this awareness funnel. So at the top is awareness. This is where you want people to literally just be aware of your brand. You don't have to expect anything else from them apart from see your ad and to hopefully remember it. The next level down is interest. So you want somebody to be engaging with your content. So this could be a click, this could be a video view. The next stage is decision. Somebody might be at this point where they are interested, they've engaged, but they're not quite ready to make their conversion yet. They might not be ready to buy your product. So you need to try and help them make a decision. So this is where you can offer some sort of messaging such as 10% off for new customers or free delivery, that sort of thing, to help just push them over the line. And then finally, you've got conversion or action at the bottom. You want them to take that valuable action. So it could be a sale, it could be a lead. It's essentially whatever you deem to be valuable for your business. All the paid social platforms are set up to help you reach your customers at each point of this funnel. So as you can see here, it has changed. The interface has changed a little bit from this screenshot. It's essentially the same, but you choose your objective based on what you want the audience to do. And as you can see, it correlates to this chart here. So you've got awareness, consideration, and conversion. But you need to take the user through this funnel. You can't just start at conversion at the bottom, because actually they need to become aware of your brand first. They need to engage with you first. You might need to offer some sort of incentive before they take that action. So you do need to make sure that every customer goes down this funnel. And that's what paid social is for. We can assist with that all the way through. Best practices across platforms and fundamentals which stay the same. So I'm going to explain to you now how to set up your campaign structures and hopefully start moving the customers down the funnel. So every platform has a very, very similar campaign structure. So they'll all start with campaign level at the top. They'll have ad set and ads at the bottom. They might have different terms to name these levels based on each platform. So this is Facebook language that we use now. So campaign, ad set, and ad. In LinkedIn, it's slightly different. So you'd have campaign group, then you'd have campaign, and then ads. So they might use slightly different wording, but they all work the same. So at this campaign level, this is where you can select your objective. As we mentioned on the last couple of slides, objectives could be something such as brand awareness. It could be you want the user to take an engagement such as a video view, or you might want them to make a purchase. So these are very broad key things, like what do you want your customer to do at this point? All adverts within this campaign will be optimized for your chosen objective. So when you get to this point, the ad that the customer actually sees on their Facebook feed, this is going to be exactly what you want them to do. So you're going to be encouraging them to purchase, or you're going to be encouraging them to watch a video. That's just simply how it works. Next up, this middle level, you have ad set. So we've already selected our objective. In this middle section, we are going to be choosing the conversion events. So that could be like what conversion we want them to take. It could be purchase, it could be initiate checkout, that sort of thing. The dates that your campaign is going to run, the specific placement that you want your ad to be shown. So a placement is, let's say you want them to view your ad on an Instagram story, or you want them to view your ad on a newsfeed, or you want them to view your ad on any because you're not too bothered. That's where you can select your placement. And within this, you can have multiple different ad sets. And the reason that you'd have multiple different ad sets is because you're targeting different audiences. So we've set one campaign objective. Let's just say this is purchase for the example. You want the campaign objective to be purchase. In this ad set, you might have different customers. So you could have customers that you're remarketing to. You might have brand new customers that are interested in your product. Let's say your product is, I don't know, ladders. How boring. You might have a audience where you put ladder related interests. So they might be builders. They might be interested in house renovations. If there was ladders as an interest, you could put that. I don't think it is. Who has an interest in ladders? That's a bit weird. But that could be an example of an audience. So ad set is split based on audiences. And then lastly, at ad level, you have the option to manage all of your creative here. So this could be the copy that you use. Copy is the text on top of an ad. You could amend your imagery here. So if you wanted to do lots of different variants of ad images, you could do a variety of call to actions. Although if you were setting a campaign up for purchase, you would likely use shop now here. But if you did want to change them for any reason, this is where you could. This is where you put your UTM, so the landing page that you want your users to go to. And also this is where you can put your tracking. So make sure that you've got UTM tracking in there. So if you look in Google Analytics, you can see where users have come from and how they've behaved on your website. So you can have multiple different ads within an ad set. And you do want to have multiple different ads because you want to test all of the different variants. So let's go back to this ladders example. You could talk about the quality of the ladders. You could talk about how affordable the ladders are. You could talk about how they're the best-selling ladders in the industry. They're all different things that your audience might be interested in, and therefore you can use them as different ad variants. So you do generally have quite a lot of ads within an ad set. Hopefully that was easy enough. If you do have any questions, just pop them in the chat and we can come back to them later. These are the different ad formats that you can use. If you don't need to write this down or anything, these are available just online all the time. So if you do think, oh, I need these, you can take a screenshot or you can just Google it, and lots of different websites provide the different ad formats. I think Sprout Social is really good, and they do an up-to-date, like an always up-to-date social media asset guide. So they're good to go to. Generally, when we brief in assets to our designer, we ask for a 1x1, so a square image, because we'll use those in the feed. We might ask for a carousel, so they're the ones that you swipe through. These are square, and you can swipe through lots of different. They're called cards. Each image is called a card. And would probably ask for a story size as well. So this is what you would use on Facebook stories or Instagram stories. And as you can see, these are very similar across each of the platforms. So if you do have a square that you think, oh, I want to use this on Facebook, you could also use it on Twitter. You could also use it on LinkedIn. This is obviously if it's relevant to you. So you don't need to create lots of different assets. You can just use the same sizes generally across a lot of the different platforms. Okay, so audiences. We're going to talk about the key audiences that you can use within your social campaigns. One of the audience is demographics. So this is when you can select an audience based on their interests. So they could be interested in lots of different things, and it's probably in Facebook, like the amount of different keywords that you can put into Facebook, and Facebook will build an audience based on these is massive. So let's go back to that ladders example. A user might be interested in home renovation. They might be interested in DIY. They might be of a certain age. You might want to target a certain gender. This is where you would do it in this demographic section. So you're building a new audience. Think about your target audience, and this is where you need to think, okay, what age is my target audience? What are my target audience interested in? Remember all this information, create this persona of this target audience, and you need to build that in your social media channel now. So some of the different things you can select. So as you see on the screenshot here, this is from Meta, these screenshots. So you could select based on different businesses or industries, hobbies, activities, food and drink. You can use these drop downs and do it this way, but generally what we do is search for the keywords, because a lot of the key interests and things that you might want to choose won't appear in these drop downs. So type it in, see if it comes back with anything. It probably will, because there's hundreds of, well, thousands of different interests. And what's really useful as well is Facebook suggests similar sort of keywords as well that you might not have thought about. So add those into your campaign if you feel like they're relevant. So building a demographic audience like this is very similar across a lot of the platforms. This is where you can choose age, gender, location, and their interests. These are new audiences that generally or are unlikely to have interacted with your company so far, but may be interested in your product, as hopefully they are your target audience. Next up, we have a lookalike audience. So this is using your current audience, and you put that information into Facebook, and Facebook will serve you a new audience that looks very, very similar to your current customers. So each platform has a version of a lookalike audience. They might be called different things. So in Facebook, it's called a lookalike. In Twitter, I think it's called an act-alike. So slightly different variants and names, but they all do the same sort of thing. So when we talk about putting customer data into the platform, this could be an email list, for example. So if you have an email list of all your customers, you can put that into an Excel file and upload that into Facebook. And what Facebook will do is match those email addresses with your current customers. Obviously, Facebook holds a lot of data on users and understands how they behave, what they're interested in, how they shop, how they browse, lots of information like that. And Facebook will serve you a new audience that is very similar and behaves in very similar ways to your current audience. Some people get concerned with uploading their customer data into Facebook. It's generally it's blurred out, so nobody has access to this information apart from you that has uploaded it in. It's hashed when it goes into Facebook, so it becomes like jumble. It's an unreadable code essentially. So it's a very safe way of uploading your audience and creating new audiences essentially. We do use these a lot when we want to target new users. One thing I would say is that they probably are less effective based on the iOS update that happened a year ago or so. So you might want to test different new audiences to see how effective they are. What we tend to do now is to go a bit broader with our lookalike audiences. So when you upload your audience into Facebook, there's a scale and you can select 1 to 10. 1 is most like your current customers and 10 is broad, so least like essentially. We used to use ranging between 1 and 5, and they used to be really, really accurate, but now we've experimented and we've done lots of tests, that sort of thing. Sometimes it is best to use a slightly broader scale because Facebook Facebook doesn't hold as much information on users as it used to, because there's a lot of cookie blocking now, and the tracking isn't as reliable as it once was a couple of years ago. Next up, we have remarketing. So you'll probably all be quite familiar with doing remarketing. Everybody gets remarketed to as a customer. So you're browsing ASOS, you leave the app, and then you come back and you log onto Facebook and you see all the dresses that you've just been looking at. So everybody's has experienced remarketing. This is really effective for getting a user to actually convert, because this is at the very bottom of the funnel. They have interacted with your business. They know who you are. They might be ready to make a purchase at this point. So this is what you're trying to get them to do usually. So users have already taken an action so far. The action could have been they've visited your website, or they've even gone to a specific page on your website. They might have watched a percentage of a video that you've shared. So if somebody's watched 75% of a video, that's a good indication that this person is interested. They have watched nearly your full video and have learned about your product. So that's an indication that this person should be remarketed to and might likely convert. You might want to retarget based on people adding products to their cart, but haven't purchased yet. And also maybe time spent on the website. If they've been on your website for quite a long time and they've browsed multiple pages, that's an indication that they have learned and took a really keen interest in your business. So as I've said, these already know who you are. You might want to target people with an incentive here, or you might want to target them with a really strong call to action, because you just need to get them across the line at this point. You want them to make the purchase or submit their lead or download your ebook, whatever your conversion might be. Okay, next up we have dynamic remarketing. This is only really useful for e-commerce clients. So as I previously spoke about the ASOS example, this is what ASOS would do. They would use dynamic remarketing. So it's very similar to regular remarketing. It works in the same way that you target audiences who have already engaged, but it's for e-commerce clients. So it's based on the products that you viewed and the categories you're interested in. For example, if you've already browsed on a makeup website, the retailer might advertise other similar makeup to you. So let's say this example here, you've looked at nail polish and lipstick. They might also feel like cream makeup set eyeliner is relevant to you because you've already browsed makeup. So what the platform will do, it will serve products to customers that they think they might be interested in based on what they've already engaged with. So again, this helps push purchases over the line, and it can also potentially upsell to customers. So if they've already browsed one thing, but you send them a couple of other things that they might like, you've taken them from potentially buying one thing to three. So it's very powerful for e-commerce clients. We use dynamic remarketing on all of our e-commerce clients. So if you do run a business that sells products, this is something that you should definitely use within your advertising. Okay, pixels. Who are they? What are they? And how to use them? Okay, a pixel is a snippet of code that's put on your website, and it enables the platform to track and measure the performance of your campaigns. So we use Tag Manager, Google Tag Manager, for a lot of our clients because it's easier. Sometimes if you have a Shopify website, I think there's an easier integration to do it through Shopify. Essentially, this bit of code will track how your users behave, and it will allow you to collect data and optimize your campaigns based on the information that it collects. Having a pixel, you'll be able to see who's added to the basket, who's initiated checkout, who's made a purchase. It's essentially the way that you can access information. It connects your website to your social media channel. So each platform has a guide to help you install the pixel. They do provide quite a lot of information. There's a lot of information on the web to help you with this if you do need a bit further help. But it is, if you are running ads, you definitely need to have a pixel set up, because if you don't have a pixel, you're missing a lot of information, meaning that you're wasting money because you're not setting up your campaigns properly, you're not targeting people properly, you don't even have the right results to look at or analyze. So make sure that's set up. I've got a little note on the bottom here. There was an iOS update, it was a year or so ago, excuse me, where you had to opt in to allow the platform to track your behavior. I don't know if anybody remembers seeing this. You got it on quite a few apps where you'd get, if you have an iPhone, it was a pop-up that said, ask, this app wants to track you. And the options were allow app to track or do not allow. Most people automatically put do not allow because you don't want to be tracked. You don't want to be advertised to. But actually what it means is that the ads that you will still see ads, just the ads that you will see are less relevant. And it actually makes your overall social media experience probably more negative, because the ads that you were seeing before were going to be relevant for you because they were targeted. Whereas now you're probably seeing ads that you think, why am I seeing this? Like, this isn't relevant to me. Facebook's full of ads now. So to have a pixel, essentially, it's very important, and you need to be able to collect as much data as possible because the data that we have access to is dwindling, and we just need to make sure that we're optimizing our campaigns for the right conversions and we're targeting the right people. So this, if you were to have a pixel on your site, this is the type of thing you can see. So to see this, you need to go into business settings and events manager. And when you've set it up, you should be able to see data that looks similar to this. So you'll see all of your user activity here in this top bar. And then you will be able to see the events that are running. So if they're active and they're running, they're green. So that means they're good. If they're red or grey, it means there's an issue or they're inactive. If you don't have too much data yet, it might look different to this. Obviously, this is a really thorough, good example because there's a lot of data here to use. Some of the events on this column here that you can see, that you can measure. So this client was measuring page views, site search, visit attraction site. So these two here, site search and visit attraction site, are custom events. The rest are standard events that you can just find in Facebook. So a lead or view content or purchase. These are standard events that Facebook recognizes that most websites will want to track. So a lot of it is done for you. You just need to make sure that it's set up essentially. Okay, budgets. Where to allocate your spend and how much should you allocate? So a logical way to allocate your budget is based on the campaign objective. So the lower the commitment, the cheaper the cost per action will be. For example, to get somebody to watch a video is going to cost less than to get somebody to purchase an item from your website. That's what we're talking about here. So the cheapest of them all is probably going to be brand awareness or reach, because you're not requiring the user to do anything here. You just want them to see your ads. There is no commitment. They just need to see it. They don't even need to interact with it at this point. So that's very cheap to reach people. You can be looking at pennies per 1,000 people here if you want. The most expensive type of commitment is obviously somebody making a conversion. So somebody submitting a lead or somebody making a purchase is going to cost you more. These can be managed, and obviously you can optimize your campaigns to get these down. So if you're seeing a really high cost per conversion, that doesn't mean that it's it forever and Facebook's really expensive and I can't use it anymore, essentially. You need to work on getting that down. So why is that so expensive? Is it because your ad copy isn't very engaging? Maybe you need to incentivize people, give them a 10% off code to make that purchase. There's lots of different things that you need to think about to try and optimize the campaigns and get these costs a bit lower. I think we go on to a little more detail. Yeah, there we go. So platforms do vary in cost per result. So Facebook is really, really cost effective. It's one of the cheapest, Meta is one of the cheapest platforms to advertise on. So typically you're looking at less than 20p per landing page view. So a landing page view is when you've advertised to somebody, they've clicked through to your ad and they've landed on your website. They could browse at that point, or they could leave, I guess, after they've browsed. So typically, yeah, you're looking at less than 20p. That's for a B2C business. So let's say you're an e-commerce retailer. That's the sort of thing we'd expect. If you're a business-to-business company, cost per landing page view could be a bit more expensive. You might be looking at more expensive results for a business-to-business type of campaign, but still very, very cheap in comparison to LinkedIn. So we get a lot of B2B clients come who obviously they want LinkedIn advertising because they think that that's the most relevant platform to them. And quite a lot of the time we offer both Meta and LinkedIn because of how cost effective Meta is. So what we generally do is say, let's target your target audience. So obviously LinkedIn has really good B2B targeting. Let's target your target audience through LinkedIn, and then we can remarket to them through Facebook. So using them both together is a really effective, cost-efficient way of getting the results you want. LinkedIn, as I've said, is more expensive. So you could be looking at £5 per click or landing page view or more here. So if you compare these two, you can see that there's a big difference there. If you are working with a lower budget, I would actually say if you're a B2B and you have quite a low budget, try to use Meta, because it does have really good like B2B targeting. You can target people by their employer, their job title, obviously their interests as well. And you can layer these up to get the right sort of audience you want. And obviously you can retarget people as well. So if somebody's been on your website and you're B2B, you can still retarget them on Facebook. You don't need to target them on LinkedIn. Video views are cheaper on most platforms. So you could be looking at less than 2p on Facebook for a video view. You could be looking at around 10p on LinkedIn. Generally, video views are really, really cheap. So these are a good place to start if you're looking at starting a campaign. Something to consider, that your ad relevancy does affect your budget. So the more relevant your advert is to the user, the cheaper the cost per result will be. So if your advert is really, really relevant and people are engaging, people are clicking, people are watching your video, that's going to cost you less because it's relevant and this is good quality content. This is a good ad, and Facebook wants to show audiences good ads. They don't want to show audiences ads that are irrelevant, or basically they don't want to hinder their experience on Facebook. They don't want people to leave the app. So this is why ad relevancy is really important. The type of audience you use at each stage of the funnel will affect the budget. So if you were to use a brand new audience who don't know you yet, and you've optimized your campaign for a purchase, that's going to be a really expensive cost per result, because these people who don't know you probably aren't going to purchase right now. So you're going to be spending money on this campaign and not getting the results you want, and therefore cost per result is going to be really expensive. So make sure that you consider that marketing funnel that we spoke about at the beginning when you plan your campaign. So if you do want to reach a new audience, make sure that you're doing a non-committal type campaign. So getting them to watch a video or just to see your ad and raise brand awareness, and then you can drive them down the funnel. You can also select between automated and manual bidding. So you can have more control over your budget if you want to, and you can select manual bidding. This can require a lot of time and investment to make sure that the budget is used effectively. This is something that if you do a job like ours and you're in the client's accounts every day, and your job is to keep an eye on the ads, you can do manual bidding. But if you're a business owner that has a lot to do, you're very busy, you don't want to check in on your ads every day, just use automated bidding. It's fine. It gets you the best possible result for the lowest possible price. So you always know that it's going to try its best there. Obviously, you do need to check in on your ads just to make sure that nothing crazy is happening. So don't just leave them and completely forget about them for weeks. Do check in every now and again. But using automated bidding as a beginner is absolutely fine. It works fine. Okay, so we're going to go into a little detail on each of the platforms, and we're going to start with Facebook. So the best way to run ads through Meta or Facebook is through a ads manager account. So if you've not seen this before, you might not have it set up. So if you've ever boosted from the platform, it's not quite advertising that, and you should look to use an ads manager. You have a lot more control when you have an ads manager that isn't available when you just boost a post from your page. So within an ads manager, so you need to set up a business manager, and then within that you have ads manager. So as you can see here, there's lots of different campaigns here. You've got your budget, reach, impressions. It's a lot more professional, and you have access to a lot of information here. Lots of reports, lots of different metrics. You can really, really customize your ads to a professional level, which you can't do when you just boost from your page. So make sure that you're using this. And if you do need any information, this is where you can start. So business.facebook.com, it will ask you to create an account. So this is where you can start. So Facebook Ads Manager has the most versatile set of objectives of all the social networks, and it can be used to drive a lot of different actions. So using Facebook ads, if you've not done any ads to begin with, this is your first time, using Facebook is a really good start. It's quite user friendly, it's very cost effective, and it's quite easy to do as well. A lot of it can be guided. If you're ever unsure, Facebook has like these little circles with question marks in that you can hover over. You can have assisted setup to make it a bit easier for you as well. It's practical for both B2C and B2B. So obviously we spoke about the great depth of targeting options that you have for B2C brands, but also if you're B2B, you can target by job title, employer, that sort of thing. So it's really effective for you as well. As it's Facebook Meta, you have the options to advertise on Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, and Audience Network all through one platform. So you don't need to advertise separately on Facebook, then Instagram, then Messenger. It can all be done in this one platform. And it is the cheapest platform to run campaigns on. So it is ideal for those who have a tighter marketing budget, essentially. I think you can run ads with really minimal, like £5 a day if you needed to. You could also spend millions. So it's up to you, whatever your budget is. Facebook will accept that. Some platforms such as TikTok have a minimal daily spend. So you have to spend, like the minimum that you can spend on TikTok is £20 per campaign per day. So as you can imagine, if you don't have the budget, you can't advertise very long on there. So Facebook is a great option for that. Okay, this is LinkedIn. As you can see, it looks quite similar to Facebook. It's still got the campaign group, campaigns, ads, that similar structure there. It runs in the same sort of way. I know it doesn't look as clunky, but the setup is very, very similar. So if you've ever set up something in Facebook and you think, oh, I might want to try LinkedIn, you'll get the hang of it. It feels really natural to you. So if you do want to use LinkedIn advertising, we recommend using Campaign Manager. So this is very, very similar to Ads Manager on Facebook. LinkedIn call it Campaign Manager. You can also set up a like a business manager account if you want on LinkedIn. I don't think this has been rolled out too well. A lot of people haven't done it yet. But if you do want to run ads, use Campaign Manager, and the link for it is here if you do want to try that. So as we've covered, it is ideal for B2B marketing as it is a professional platform. There is a variety of options to target B2B users. So it could be job title, it could be what university they went to, their interests, any member groups that they're part of, if they're following your page. There's lots and lots of different ways to advertise on LinkedIn. The demographic targeting for new audiences is really good, and it's a good place to start. It can be expensive, however. So if you're on a tighter budget, LinkedIn might be a struggle for you. Cost per clicks are really expensive. Obviously, conversions can be really expensive. But if a conversion to you means thousands of pounds worth of business, you need to weigh up the options in your head. If you don't mind spending, I don't know, £10, £15 on a lead, but it means that you can get thousands of pounds worth of business off the back of it, this might be okay for you. You can nurture your leads, but in a professional context. So let's say you have a very professional, very formal business. You might not feel that Meta is appropriate to you for advertising them because you're reaching people in their personal time. It's not in their work time. So this is a choice that you can make. I personally think that it's not intrusive to advertise on Meta or use retargeting for very formal businesses. Because everybody's used to it now. I think all consumers are used to being remarketed and targeted to on all platforms. So I personally don't think it's intrusive to advertise to somebody on Meta. It can also be used for targeting very niche audiences. So this is really useful on LinkedIn. For example, using video views followed by remarketing with lead generation ads. So it is really great for combining audiences in that way. But again, you need to have quite a substantial budget to do this. Okay, Pinterest. This is slightly different Pinterest. I'll go into more details in a second. It's known as a shopping platform. So I personally wouldn't regard this as a social media platform anymore. I think it aligns closer to like a PPC sort of platform, I guess. The setup is very similar. So this is your ads manager. You set up in a very similar way. As you can see at the top, campaigns, ad group, ads, keywords. That sounds very similar to PPC to me. So if you did want to use Pinterest, this is where you can start. You can just click this link, ads.pinterest.com, and that will lead you to the ads manager, and you can set up an account there. So as I said, it isn't really a social media channel. It's not very social, is it, Pinterest? It's a shopping platform that has some characteristics of search engines as well as social elements. So Pinterest even talk about it themselves. They are a shopping platform. People go there to discover new products. They go there to shop. Let's say you're doing a house renovation. The first place you'll go to is Pinterest, because you go there to be inspired, and you go there to make shopping choices, essentially. So the people who use this platform have a really high intent than those on other social media platforms. So let's say you are a sofa retailer. You sell sofas, mattresses, DFS, let's say, that sort of retailer. If you advertise to people on Facebook, these people might be interested in home furnishings, DIY. You could even say they're moving house. They might even be interested in sofas, if that's a keyword that you can use. You're targeting people that fall into your target market. Okay, they might be interested in these, but you don't know. This person might not actually be that interested. They just fall into your target market. Whereas when you target people on Pinterest, they are actively searching for new sofas. So they might be looking at new sofas. They might be looking at living room ideas. They might be looking at sofa bed for office, that sort of thing. They have a lot more, the intent is a lot higher than what you would find on Facebook. And so targeting these people on Pinterest is a really good indication that they might actually purchase your product. You're not just targeting a great big mass of people that might be interested. These people are interested because they want to buy. They're discovering products that suit their need. So Pinterest is really great for e-commerce, especially if you are like a home sort of business. And you sell physical products. It's great. So you're reaching these people at the start of their purchasing consideration phase. It's definitely a shopping channel, and there's lots of different tools within Pinterest now to search and explore. They've made it really engaging. They have this thing called Lens, where you can, let's say you've seen a chair out, you can use Lens on Pinterest to take a picture of this chair, and it will serve you similar products that you can buy. So the technology is actually really good and really engaging for somebody who wants to shop. So yeah, it's great if you're an e-commerce retailer. Useful tools and top tips. So we're coming to the end now. If you have learned something in here and you think, right, I think I can do this myself, I think I'm ready to start looking at some ads, these are some useful things that you might need. So Facebook ads library is really useful because you can see what your competitors are doing. You just need to search their brand name. You select their page and you can see what ads they've been running for the last few months. I think like maybe a year's worth of ads. You could use Google Data Studio. So this is called Looker Studio now. It's a live automated reporting tool, essentially. It's what we use at Annika. And you can create dashboards to keep an eye on how your campaigns are running. So these are really good if you're using lots of digital channels. So let's say you're using PPC and social. You can create a Google Looker report where you combine the results of both. But if you're just using one, let's say you're just using social or just using PPC, it might be enough to just look at the information on the platforms. Next, you have Google Analytics. So this is obviously really important to monitor and measure how people are entering your website, how they're behaving, and what they're purchasing. You can look at your revenue and things like that on Google Analytics. And it's worth noting that you need to be using GA4 very soon because Universal Analytics is being phased out, so you won't be able to access that. Something that we use quite often at Annika on our B2B clients is Zapier. So Zapier is a tool where you can integrate platforms to work better together. So let's say you are generating leads on LinkedIn and you need them to go into Salesforce or HubSpot, something like that. Zapier can help you with that integration to get the channels to work together. So it's a seamless flow. Hopefully there's no manual processing involved when you've got Zapier. And lastly, Facebook Blueprint is a really good place to learn about advertising on Meta. So you can pay to do, they've got quite a few exams. You can pay to do an exam if you want, but you don't need to do this. This is only relevant if you're like an agency, somebody like us. Having an exam shows that we're qualified to run ads, essentially. What is really useful is that they provide all the learning materials for free. So you can learn to the level of the exam, but you don't actually have to pay for the exam. So it's all free, it's all there, it's really detailed and really useful. As I've said, Facebook is an excellent place to start. There's lots of campaign types and objectives. It's cheaper than most platforms, and you've got some great audiences to use. So it's great for remarketing and lookalike audiences. And if you do need any help, we've got a little link here to help you get set up. So an introduction to Facebook ads. Once you've mastered Facebook, all the other platforms will seem really similar, but probably more expensive. So from now on, if you have been boosting your posts, try not to do that anymore. Make sure that you get Ads Manager set up and start trying to use some of the proper campaign structures. If you do have a limited budget, focus on traffic or conversion campaigns to help you get the most from your budget, essentially. So make sure that if you have limited budget, maybe remarket to people to help push those conversions over the line, and then you can build up more money to put into your advertising. If you want to focus on maximum awareness of your brand, let's say you don't have much traffic to your website yet, or people don't know about your brand yet, you might want to focus on making people aware of your brand. So you could use a video view campaign, which, as we know, costs very little to get a video view, or maybe a brand awareness campaign to reach your audience. And that's it from me. Hopefully that was helpful.
There's been quite a lot of questions, so quite a bit to go through, and I've got to put some offers on as well. But we've had a private question. You mentioned that you should move customers through all stages of the funnel, similar to PPC. What you have previously driven a certain number of conversions before you could even bid towards conversions and have conversions as goal. For a new brand, do you generally start with an awareness campaign, then consideration over time in one go?
You could run them all in one go. It depends how much budget you have. So if you have a lot of budget and that's driving, let's say you have a lot of budget, you could do an awareness campaign at the same time to generate video views, and then you can retarget people based on the videos at the same time. So the advert's still relevant to them, because you need to remember that by the time you want to capture people when they're interested. So if they have watched 75% of your video, they're going to be more interested in the days after they've watched your video than 30 or 60 days later. So it is quite, if you can afford to run them all at once, that would be ideal.
I think it's good to say as well that obviously today we're talking about paid social, but you would normally have that as a broader brand awareness campaign, and then, build accordingly and think about different touch points and your target audiences as well, and think about how to nurture people and what journeys to take them on. Sam said, when you say video views are cheaper, what do you mean by that, please?
So if you have a choice of lots of different objectives that you want to run, so you could run video views as an objective, you could run traffic as an objective, or purchase. Out of all of these, the cheapest result will be video views. So if you want to achieve lots of results, video views is the cheapest, essentially.
Okay.
You'll pay literally pennies or less than 1p per video view on Facebook.
Yeah. Is it worth boosting posts? I've been told that it isn't worth doing that.
No. So today, if you've been boosting posts, try to get Ads Manager set up and try to implement some of the lessons that you've learned today, because boosting posts are a bit of a waste of money essentially, and you can get really good results when you set up ads through Ads Manager.
There was a couple of questions about pixels and tracking varying per platform, and people asking like, what's the best way to install them? I mean, obviously, because of the variances, there's always FAQs and guidance per platform. But have you got anything to say on that, Rach?
Well, we use Tag Manager, Google Tag Manager, to implement a lot of our pixels. Obviously, there are a lot. If you're using all of the platforms, yeah, it is a lot. So instead of putting the code directly on your website, we use Google Tag Manager. It's a lot easier. I wouldn't know how to put code on a website, but I can use Tag Manager. So yeah, I'd recommend that personally.
We've had a question about keywords and phrases that should be avoided in FB ads. I mean, I think that can be quite specific and bespoke to what you're trying to do, I suppose. And obviously there's negative keywords to put in often, but I don't know if you want to talk about that, Rach, quickly.
So when you're selecting like keyword like interests, you can use any that Facebook provide, because obviously they're providing these interests to you. But if you're talking about words that to use in your actual ad copy, obviously avoid anything discriminatory, because that will just be completely rejected. And you need to be careful that you're not I don't know how to phrase it, you're not targeting somebody directly. So you couldn't say hey you with this illness, or hey you and then state their religion. You can't target people directly like that, but you could talk about their illness broadly or their religion broadly, I guess, if you're allowed to use religion. So there is Facebook have a big list of guidance that you can look through to make sure that what you're doing is right. And ultimately, if it is allowed, the ad will go through and it will run. If it's not allowed, it will just get rejected. They will just reject it. So you'll find out either way.
Someone said, for paid social targeting, we often suggest company names to target. However, if you do this, are the ads limited to those companies, or will they appear for other companies too?
No. So if you've only used certain companies in your targeting, just those people will see it, nobody else.
And someone said, just to clarify, video views, this means using a video as an ad rather than a static image.
Yeah. So use a video as an ad, and then when you're choosing your objective, choose video views.
Okay, I think that's everything actually. I just want to put this out for Rachel, because she's put so much into this, and reviews really count. If you've gone to any of our webinars before, I'll put the link in for that, unless someone else can do that for me quickly. But there's a bit of an internal competition. I think she deserves a pat on the back, and there's been a lot of emoji love coming through. So if you get a chance, please leave Rachel a review, because she really thoroughly deserves it. And then also, just to put this out there as well, this is regarding PPC. We are offering a free PPC consultation with Holly right now. She's hugely talented, really knows her stuff, and it's totally free, and it's a one-to-one. I can't get my words out. Sorry, it's not. I can't blame the fly. The fly's disappeared. So yeah, it'd be really, if it's beneficial, that's there, and we will be doing that for all other facets of Annika really soon. So I've left you my email address and the inquiries email address. So please just get in touch if that's of interest. So I suppose it's just to say, thanks for being here. Hope you have a great Friday. Have a lovely weekend. Please leave Rachel a review if you get a chance, because it does mean a lot. And it, well, you do impress me, Rach. And I think it's been a very good beginner's overview. Handouts are obviously there. Any questions or anything, you can always follow up with me as normal. And I think the videos turn around a lot quicker these days. Gurpreet and I are really on it. So literally you should get it in the next hour and a half. I think that's everything. I don't know. Just got a message coming through. No, haven't been informed about what's next week. I've got a feeling I know what it is, but obviously once you're on the email chain, it all flows thereafter anyway. Okay, but I think that's it for today. Thank you, Rachel. Hope everyone has good Fridays. And yeah, we'll see you next week. Okay.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah. Bye. Bye.
Bye.